Peace, everybody. This is God in them streets, and I'm bringing you the Candace Amber Owens Farmer, born April the 29th, 1989, is an American conservative, author, talk show host, political commentator, and activist. Initially critical of the United States President Donald Trump and the Republican Party, Owens eventually became known for her pro-truck activism as a black woman, in addition to her criticism of Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. On several occasions, she has claimed that the effects of white supremacy and nationalism are exaggerated, especially when compared to other issues facing Black America. She worked for the conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA between 2017 and 2019 as its communications director. She joined the Daily Wire, where she hosts Candace, a political talk show. Okay, this sister right here seems to be very active when it comes to being a conservative black woman. Candace Amber Owens, once again, age 33, Stanford, Connecticut. The University of Rhode Island attended 3 years. She didn't even graduate. Political commentator, activist, and author. Years active, 2017 to the present. Organization, BLM Foundation. Political party, Republican. Spouse, George Farmer. Married 2019. Children 2.
Yes, I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Liu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again. Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives. By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
For sure. Yes, we're going to continue listening to what she did for the transgender community.
Duncan Boyd. Darius is also the executive director of the Transgender United Fund, which I mentioned earlier, which secured $200,000. So a total $600,000 of BLM money went to a transgendered woman named Darius Boyd.
$600,000 went to Darius from the BLM organization.
Describing in a 2020 foundation, per their mission statement, strives to connect people through organized acts of love. They run a program called #lunchbag. This program allegedly brings people together to create bagged lunches in which they write handwritten love notes, and then they distribute the bagged lunches to local communities. That sounds nice, right? I thought so too.
2.3 million on bagged lunches where you write a hand note in it telling the person that you handed it to how much you love them.
Past events and learn more about the original givers, I was met with a coming soon page. So I wondered, who is the executive director of this organization that accepted $2.3 million from Black Lives Matter Global Foundation?
Let's see what organization accepted that $2.3 million.
But there was a name at least, and that name was AJ Reeland, listed as the executive director. AJ owns 3 coffee shops in California. You'd have to imagine
AJ owns 3 coffee shops in California.
In 2019, and buried within the piece was a picture of none other than Patrice Cullors, sitting there with her friends having coffee. In 2019, meaning Patrice Cullors had a relationship with AJ Reeland that predates the George Floyd protest. So exactly why did she transfer BLM money?
The person who she gave the most money to, she had a relationship with them prior to George Floyd being killed.
Is she an investor?
Boy, what scammers.
The $2.3 million question. What I can say for certain is that you don't just send your non-black friend $2.3 million just because. Perhaps most hilariously, you'll recall that the founders of Black Lives Matter pride themselves on being abolitionists. They want to abolish the old systems of white supremacy, the systems which keep Black America away from garnering our true generational wealth and financial freedom in this horrible country.
While they rob us.
It's somewhat odd that they invested $32 million into the stock market. Wall Street. What a great
Did you hear that? BLM, $32 million in that same Wall Street stock exchange that oppresses the black community. Right.
Because you thought it was going to help Black America, then you should get answers to those questions. So we are headed to Laurel Canyon. We've yet to see any Black people in this neighborhood. There were a ton of cyclists coming through. Not that that's an issue.
No Black people on the way to their house.
The Black Lives Matter messaging, of course, has been that Black people cannot be safe in white spaces. So it's an unusual decision to buy a home in a neighborhood that doesn't have any Black faces and is surrounded by what we've been told are violent white people that don't want to see Black Americans become better. So hopefully, as we are heading now to the house, we'll be able to speak to somebody on the property. Is this a creative space for Black Americans? Why did we purchase this property with the money that was raised on the faces of so many dead Black people?
Understand, we're in Hollywood, y'all.
It's going to be a welcoming environment. We'll see. So there's definitely somebody home. Hello. I was just looking to speak to whoever is at this property. Sir? Hello?
Beautiful property. Intercom so you can speak to whoever's on the outside of your gated house.
This morning I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew.
Looks to be maybe in his mid-40s, white male, black hat, and he is, whoever he spoke to on the phone has instructed him to record us, which is strange because we just want to talk. And what I see in the driveway are 2 cars and a sign that says you are exactly where you are supposed to be.
She was demanding that I come outside.
Liar, liar, your pants on fire.
Hi, you're welcome to record. I just want to talk. Are you instructed not to speak to anybody? We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody. Sorry, what was that? Okay, I just thought this was a house for Black Lives Matter.
She asked to speak to somebody in the Black Lives Matter house, and the person said, bye-bye.
A stranger come outside of my house.
You're just trying to figure out if this house is actually being used for Black people in a creative space at all. And it doesn't seem that way.
What happened this morning is not safety. It's not what I deserve. It's not what any of us deserve.
No, you deserve to get your lost self what?
Lives anywhere in America. I can't even find a Black life on the property. Hey, the dog's not even black. So.
Candace said the dog isn't even black.
Trying to destroy us. They're trying to destroy me. They're trying to destroy the movement. And I just need us to be stronger.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. What could be more
to Darius from the BLM organization.
Describing in a 2020 interview how they were able to use that money that was received to the organization to purchase more real estate.
We're opening up a new resource center here, and the resource center is almost 3 times as big as our last space that we was in. So we have lots of space and lots of rooms for our clients to come in and enjoy.
We have lots of space for them. But yet in the black community, we got kids walking in the houses with no food.
Houses that are named on their IRS documents. For example, an additional $200,000 was given to the House of Tulip. According to their website, the House of Tulip provides zero-barrier housing to trans and gender non-conforming people. But the one that really stood out as the most nonsensical is the $200,000 that went to the Griffin Gracie Retreat and Educational Center, known as House of Gigi for short.
House of Gigi Educational Center also got $200,000.
The lives, history, and visibility of transgender, gender questioning, and gender non-conforming persons. They admit that they purchased a property in Little Rock, Arkansas back in 2019, and that property was supposed to serve as an oasis and a retreat for transgendered person, but they admit, also on the website, that they actually never held such a retreat. First, because
a retreat with a pool, and they never used it because the person in charge had a stroke. And after that, they went and bought another retreat house right next door. Are they getting off or not?
Next door to the first one. So, yeah. Now, all of the organizations that I just mentioned, none of them, not one, is up to date on filing a tax return with the IRS, which is required.
Not one of the organizations is up to date with their IRS information.
Tell you how any of these transgender organizations spent the money that BLM poured into their organizations during the 2020 and 2021 tax year. If you continue to look through BLM IRS docs, you'll notice that they gave millions of dollars to various Black Lives Matter organizations throughout America, or at least at first glance, it appears that they did. A closer look, you'll see that they actually dispersed that funding to organizations that were in care of Black Lives Matter.
They even used the old trick of dispersing money to organizations that was under their umbrella, more or less like Coca-Cola being, the company over Fantasia soda, which is subsidiary to Coca-Cola, but yet Coca-Cola still owns it and makes money off of it.
About their history of getting arrested, protesting, and they offer courses on various techniques like bird dogging. That's a technique that's used to confront politicians.
Teaching professional protesters how to bird call. Wow. Over the top.
As though the protesters that arrived throughout these cities weren't actually from the cities that they arrived in. They didn't know where they had come from. I heard buses. There was this idea that buses were showing up filled with protesters. It's a fair question then. Is it plausible that Patrice was giving money to groups that were creating protesters or training activists rather? I mean, why else would Patrice give millions of dollars to so many trained activists? I wanted to investigate that piece a little further, and so I made some phone calls. So I want to call some of these groups today, pretend that I want to give money to the organization.
Listen, she went in detail. She's calling some of these groups that these millions of dollars went out to. Let's stay in tune with what the sister's revealing.
We are not able to take your call. The Google subscriber you have called is not available.
No response.
You have the wrong number. Thanks. Goodbye.
What?
Please leave a message after the tone.
No one's available.
Your call cannot be completed at
Verizon wireless.
The Google Voice service is not available.
But it's still not